Have you ever looked back at a relationship from 10 or 15 years ago and felt like you were living in a completely different civilization? Back then, if a woman liked you, she showed it by staying on the phone with you until midnight, laughing at your bad jokes, and looking forward to Friday night. There was a natural warmth, a pace that made sense, and a mutual effort to build a connection. Fast forward to today. You slide into a DM, you send a thoughtful text on a dating app, or you sit across from a woman on a first date, and you feel an icy, invisible wall. You notice her eyes constantly darting toward her phone. You feel like you are being auditioned, not dated. You feel like you are competing with a phantom army of men you will never see. This is the silent exhaustion haunting millions of men today, particularly those over 30, who remember what genuine human connection used to taste like. You didn't change. Your work ethic didn't change. Your desire to be a good partner didn't change. What changed is the psychic architecture of the female mind, completely re-engineered by the glowing rectangle in her hand. Social media didn't just add a new way to communicate. It completely hijacked how women perceive validation, how they evaluate potential partners, and how they behave toward the men right in front of them. It has industrialized attention, turning what used to be a sacred, one-on-one dynamic into a hyper-competitive market, where the average man has been made to feel entirely invisible. In this video, we are going to pull back the curtain on this digital shift. We are going to explore the psychological machinery behind how infinite online options have altered female behavior, the rise of what philosophers call performative romance, and how this affects your daily peace. More importantly, we will cover how you can navigate this fragmented landscape without losing your dignity, your energy, or your mind. Let us begin by breaking down the artificial economy that ruined the simplicity of love. To understand why modern interactions feel so hollow, we have to look at what social media did to the natural human need for attention. In the past, a woman's validation came from her immediate environment, her friends, her family, and the men who had the courage to approach her in the real world. This attention was limited, which made it valuable. It required real-world effort. A man had to cross a room, look her in the eye, and risk rejection just to say hello. Today, a single Instagram post or TikTok video can give a woman thousands of likes, comments, and direct messages from men all over the globe within an hour. This is an unnatural amount of validation. The human brain did not evolve to process the praise of 10,000 strangers simultaneously. When this flood of attention becomes a daily routine, the dopamine receptors in the brain are completely rewired. Carl Jung spoke at length about the dangers of the collective consciousness swallowing the individual. When a woman is plugged into a global network of constant praise, her internal sense of worth detaches from reality. She no longer needs the validation of the man sitting across the dinner table because she has an emergency supply of it in her pocket. When local, real-world appreciation is forced to compete with a global, infinite stream of digital applause, the real-world man loses his flavor. He becomes ordinary. And in a world that worships the extraordinary, being ordinary is treated as a crime. The phantom options and the illusion of choice. This infinite stream of attention creates a psychological trap, known as the paradox of choice. When you go to a grocery store with 3 flavors of jam, you pick one quickly and leave happy. If there are 200 flavors, you stand there paralyzed, terrified of making the wrong choice. And if you do pick one, you leave wondering if another flavor would have tasted better. Social media has turned dating into a 200-flavor supermarket. Even if a woman meets a solid, reliable man who checks every realistic box, he is loyal, hardworking, kind, and present. The digital screen whispers that a better option is just one scroll away. She is introduced to a phantom army of men, the travel influencers, the fitness models, the billionaires, and the filtered archetypes that dominate her feed. This creates a permanent state of relationship anxiety. Studies on modern dating show that endless options prevent people from fully committing to the person right in front of them. The modern female behavior pattern has shifted toward extreme hypervigilance. Conversations start and stop without warning. Ghosting has become a casual habit rather than an act of cowardice. Why put in the hard emotional work to resolve a misunderstanding with you when she can simply refresh her inbox and find 5 new faces waiting to replace you? The digital illusion of infinite choice has broken the patience required to build a real relationship. The performative trap and unspoken tests. Another profound shift is the rise of performative romance. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok don't just show life, they dictate how life should look. Millions of women are exposed daily to highly curated, manufactured relationship standards. They see couples exchanging elaborate, expensive gifts for minor holidays, men performing highly specific gestures, or couples living out an idealized aesthetic. This has shifted female behavior from experiencing a relationship to evaluating it against an online script. Sociologists note that communication is being replaced by unspoken tests. Instead of a woman telling her partner what she needs or desires, she adopts internet trends, like the 3-month rule or specific gift expectations, and treats them as a metric for his love. If the man fails an unspoken test he didn't even know he was taking, she interprets it as a lack of care. This creates an environment of intense walking on eggshells for men. The relationship stops being a safe harbor and becomes a theater production. You are no longer just a partner. You are a co-star in her digital highlight reel. If your lifestyle, your car, or your dates don't fit the visual standard of the algorithm, frustration builds. The natural flow of love is replaced by a constant, exhausting comparison to an artificial reality that doesn't actually exist. The Mirror of Insecurity. It is easy to look at these behaviors and feel resentment, but to truly master your environment, you must look at the psychological vulnerability underneath. This shift hasn't made women happier. In fact, research shows that the heavy use of social media and dating apps is directly tied to skyrocketing levels of anxiety, loneliness, and body dissatisfaction among women. The screen is a brutal mirror. While it hands out cheap validation with one hand, it strips away self-esteem with the other. A woman navigating this space is constantly comparing her looks, her status, and her lifestyle to the top 1% of edited images on the internet. She is caught in a state of chronic psychological insecurity. When a person is deeply insecure, their behavior becomes self-protective and defensive. The coldness, the high walls, and the unrealistic standards you encounter are often not reflections of her arrogance, but armor hiding her internal chaos. She uses high demands as a shield to protect a fragile ego. Understanding this changes your perspective. You stop taking her digital behavior personally. You realize that she is trapped in a system designed to keep her emotionally dysregulated, swiping and scrolling in search of a security that the internet can never provide. Reclaiming your sovereignty. Now that we see the battlefield clearly, how do you live within it without letting it drain your vital energy? The answer is simple. You must refuse to play the digital game. If a woman treats you like an option, you must immediately remove yourself from the equation. Do not compete with the ghosts in her phone. Do not double text when she goes cold for days. Do not try to buy her interest with expensive dates to prove you match her Instagram feed. The moment you enter a bidding war for a woman's attention, you have already lost your status. You must become a representative of the real world. When you are with a woman, set a standard of presence. Put your phone away, look her in the eyes, and expect the same from her. If she cannot detach from her screen to engage with your reality, do not argue, do not complain, and do not beg. Simply recognize, that she is emotionally unavailable. Close the book and walk away. Your absence must be the immediate consequence of her lack of presence. This is how you protect your psychic energy from being distributed like free samples to someone who doesn't appreciate the value of the well. The return to the real world. There is a growing shift happening beneath the surface of our culture. People are growing tired of the digital noise. A quiet revolution is beginning, where being chronically offline is becoming a sign of high status and emotional maturity. Both men and women are experiencing app fatigue and are starving for authentic, raw, unfiltered human connection. This is your competitive advantage. While the rest of the world is busy clear-coding each other, playing games, and chasing algorithms, you can stand out by being entirely grounded in reality. Develop hobbies that require your hands, build real-world communities, and develop the social skills to approach people organically in everyday life, at a coffee shop, a bookstore, or a local event. When you operate entirely in the real world, the digital metrics lose their power over you. A woman who is stuck in the digital loop will find your real-world grounding either incredibly refreshing or highly intimidating. Let her choose. Your job is not to fix the culture or to save individuals from their digital addictions. Your job is to remain sovereign over your own mind and your own time. The freedom of the grounded man. The modern dating landscape can feel like a desert for a man over 30 who values depth, respect, and simplicity. But remember, a desert only panics the man who doesn't know where his own water source is. Your value as a man does not drop because an algorithm has distorted someone else's vision. You are not a profile to be swiped on, a data point to be analyzed, or a placeholder until a better notification arrives. You are a living, breathing reality with goals, a purpose, and finite time on this earth. When you stop caring about digital approval, you break the strings of the puppet show. You become a rare commodity, a man who cannot be bought with cheap attention and cannot be controlled by the fear of being left behind. You hold the ultimate power, the willingness to walk away from anything that does not respect your peace. If you are ready to stop chasing illusions and start living in reality, write in the comments below, "I choose reality." Let it be a clear sign that your mind belongs to you, not to a screen.